Okay, so you cut out your shape or your object that you were planning on having color on. And then what I asked you to do was just tape a piece of the colored paper onto the back of your sheet so that you can start to draw your colored object on your colored paper. So as you can see, I'm doing a strawberry here, and two things I wanted to show you. One, obviously a strawberry is red, so I picked red paper, but obviously the red part of my strawberry is going to be red, whereas the green leafy part is going to be that green part. So what I've started doing is I started adding value and green color on top of my red. Just to add that color. So I want to show you a few quick tricks on when you're adding color onto your colored paper. So you're going to be using colored pencils for this part of the project. We used charcoal for the first part with all of our shading, and now it's time to use colored pencils on the only color part that you are working on a piece of construction paper. Okay, so what you will need for this part of the project is you're going to need colored pencils. Think about the colors that you obviously want on your piece of paper and on your fruit or your object that is colorful. I needed greens for the leaf, and I also needed reds for the strawberry. But what I also needed is black and white. And black and white are really important because white helps us blend, and black helps us define more shadows and some darks, okay? So I'm just going to give you a quick little intro or a quick little demo on how to add certain colors, and I'm going to do it in my leaves, and I'll do a little bit on my strawberry as well. So as I'm working on my leaves, I'm looking and I'm remembering where are the darks in my leaves and where are the lights, right? So I'm finishing up, or I'm going to start this leaf right now. I just started, all I did right now is I just outlined the basic shape of this leaf, okay? And then what I like to do is I like to put down a dark color that I will be using for the leaves, and I'm just doing it very lightly. I'm not going crazy with pressure. I just want to make sure that it covers some of my red paper. Obviously, if I put more pressure down, you could see that I'll cover more of my red paper, but just for now, I'm just doing a light little layer over my green. Now I'm going to take another green because I'm using a multitude of different greens here, and I'm going to start to apply more pressure to mix these two greens together so it looks more like the rest of the leaves that I have already started with. Remember, as you know, with charcoal, the more pressure you put down with these colored pencils, the darker your color will be and the more invisible your background color will be. So just make sure that you remember that. It is important to add whites or lights and darks to this. So what I am going to do is, I know that there's going to be a little drop shadow underneath my leaf right here. So all I'm doing is I'm just coming in and lightly putting that drop shadow. I even might put a little bit of a shadow right here just to get a little bit more definition. I'll also make the veins of my leaves a little darker. This is part of my other leaf, so I'm just going to be adding darkness underneath there a little bit. And remember, this part is really all about like how much pressure you add to your drawing and how much color you want to apply. So after I've done that, I like to take my white, and I always save my white for the end because it's such a great blending tool. You don't realize with the white, and it really brightens up some aspects of your colors. So I'm just coming back in here. Now I notice this is a little bit darker than over here, so I'm just going to add a little bit more darkness, some shadows. Okay. All right, so that's looking pretty good. I'm going to finish my other leaf later. Let's go to my strawberry. So now I'm taking this red paper that I have, and I need to add some definition onto my red strawberry, obviously. So what I'm going to do, same thing that I just did with the leaves, I'm going to start with like a darker red. Obviously there's going to be a big shadow over here because the light is coming from this way, so the shadow is going to come kind of like a little bit curved. All right, so I'm going to start with this darker red that I have here. This is the darkest red that I have. And what I'm doing, I'm just going to turn my paper. Remember, I'm always using a piece of paper just to make sure I don't get graphite all over the place or charcoal all over the place. And I'm just going to start to apply this color in a diagonal motion so that I can get some color coverage there and also show some shadows. Okay, so I'm just kind of going over. It's kind of tough to see right now because of the glare of my lights, but essentially what I'm doing is I'm just adding some value here, and for value all I'm doing is just adding a darker red tone so that I can show that there is some darks over on this side of my strawberry. Remember, all about pressure, right? So if I add less pressure, obviously I will get more, I will get a lot lighter of a shade. Okay, now I'm coming in with some black, and I'm just lightly adding a little bit of black on this side over here to just add, as I said, some more dimension and a little bit more emphasis on the fact that this is a shadow area. Okay, I'm going to come up here, add a lot of black right here, because if I think about my my leaves, it's definitely going to show a little bit more of a shadow here than anywhere else. Okay. All right. Remember, pressure. This is the most important part of this project, is the amount of pressure that we put on our paper. Okay, so after I've done that, it's going to be time to add a little bit more dimension to this. So I'm just going to come in with like another color red, which is really hard to see, and that's okay. Actually, let's try another color. I might not even have to really add much of a red, to be honest, on this side, because this side is so dark already, which it works for me. But I like to add a little bit more dimension as much as I can when I'm using colored pencils. All right, I'm going to come and take this red one more time and just kind of bring this up like this. I'm going to go a little bit more darker in here. And I am going to add just a little bit of definition over on this side, just to show, you know, this is the edge of the strawberry, and there might be some shading. All right, my strawberry obviously needs some seeds, so what I'm just going to do with my black colored pencil is start to add those seeds, big and small, diagonal, all over, just to get the feel that this is a strawberry. If I wanted to, which I think I'm going to do, I'm actually going to add some whites with that white colored pencil over here, just to show a little bit more of the lights. So I'll just come in and kind of just go over that. Can't really see it as well as I would love you to, but I am just doing some quick highlights just to show some definition. And up here, I'll do some more highlights, more than over here. Okay. All right. So that was just a quick way for you to add some definition into color over here. Remember, the white is a really, really important tool to use for this part of the project. And the black colored pencil is also important. So just make sure you have those two on hand while you're doing your color part of your project.